Most parents sit their kids down and give them a stranger danger talk. My mom, she handed me an encryption key. We had a code word because in my world, family was flexible. Sometimes the person picking me up was an uncle. Sometimes it was a cousin. Sometimes it was a man I'd never seen before who worked for Grandpa or Nino. And that was supposed to be enough. You didn't ask questions, you asked for the word. And if they didn't have it, it didn't matter who they were. Blood didn't override protocol. So one day, my aunt pulls up to the school. She's got her boyfriend with her. They're teenagers. Brand new baby in the back seat. My very first cousin. This should have been a Hallmark moment, right? Cute, sweet, family. Wrong. They smiled. They waved. They said my name, but they didn't know the word. So I looked at the school lady, real calm, real serious. And I said, I don't know these people. I left my own flesh and blood sitting on the curb like total strangers because nobody had looped them into the mission. And yeah, it's funny now, a first grader acting like TSA. Little baby savage guarding the gates. But it also tells you everything you need to know about how I was wired. I learned early that access is earned, that love has rules, that safety isn't about who you are, it's about what you know. That was the funny side of our life. Today, we're talking about the moment the humor dropped. The night the south side of Tucson came right to my bedroom window, and the day I watched Jefe turn a grown man into a shadow. I was way too old when I realized my family wasn't just colorful. On my dad's side, mafia hierarchy vibes, structure, silence, consequences. On my mom's side, ghosts. Midnight moves, changing names, having kids in different states like they were collecting stamps instead of birth certificates. Nobody had a normal job. No 9 to 5s, no PTO, no casual Fridays. Everybody had a hustle. So when my cousin A&W was born and her dad worked at a bank, I remember feeling bad for him. I thought he was boring. I thought he had lost at life. I remember thinking, damn, poor guy. He doesn't even have a hustle. He just sits in a building with money. I didn't realize he was the only one in the room with a clean record and a 401k. To me, normal looks like a failure. That's how upside down my compass was. The humor officially left the building when I was 4. We lived in a trailer park on the south side of Tucson. You didn't play outside after the sun went down. That wasn't a rule. It was survival. My Thea was dropping me, my mom, and Stone off. We pulled in and the air just shifted. If you know, you know. The pressure. That silence that screams before anything happens. Right outside my bedroom window, not down the street, not around the corner, muzzle flashes. Someone was being erased. My mom didn't scream, she didn't freeze, she didn't ask questions. She went straight into combat mode. Hit the deck. We knew what that meant well. We didn't even go inside. No grabbing toys, no checking locks. We peeled out. We hit a gas station payphone and went back to Tia. That was the night I learned my bedroom walls were just thin pieces of tin pretending to be protection. That was the night my instincts fully woke up. And I don't think they ever went back to sleep. Fear didn't always look loud, though. Sometimes it was quiet. One year, Easter at Jefe's, I wandered too close to his study and saw him delivering a message. Jefe was the architect, the load bearer. He carried everyone's survival on his back, and that kind of weight makes a man cold. He didn't need to raise his voice. His silence could drown a room. Kukui was on that same high alert wavelength. The kind of wavelength where any kind of weakness could cost you your life or someone else's. Then you had my blood. Nino and Grandpa. They were the anchors, the historians, the keepers of this is how we've always survived. And Poppy. Oh, Poppy. He married Nana and stepped into the hurricane he didn't create. He had to learn how to survive a world that wasn't his by blood, which is its own kind of mental prison. The strong one doesn't get to fall apart. In our family, mental health wasn't a conversation. It was staying alive. You bury the fear so deep you forget it's there, until you realize it's been running the show the whole time. We talk about the strong one, like it's a badge of honor. In my family, it wasn't a choice, it was the admission price. When I look back at Jefe, Kukui, Nino, Grandpa, and Poppy, it feels like a council of men who all agreed on the same silent rule. Your internal world doesn't matter as much as the external wall you build. Jefe didn't get to process stress. If he cracked, the whole structure collapsed. Kukui couldn't relax, because relaxation looks a lot like a target. Even Poppy had to trade his peace of mind just to exist in the orbit. That's the emotional toll nobody talks about. The silent rules men follow to keep others alive eventually end up killing the man inside. You spend so much time mastering chaos, hitting the deck, reading rooms, watching hands, you forget how to adjust. Stand up. You become highly functional in a crisis and completely lost without one. We aren't fine. We're just well trained. So if you're out there wondering why you can't turn off high alert mode, why rest feels unsafe, why being needed feels more comfortable than being loved, it's not because you're broken. It's because you were built to be the wall. But walls need maintenance too. You don't have to wait for muzzle flashes to start taking yourself seriously. The world first scared me back when I was 4, but I'm finally learning how to stare it down on my own terms. I'm Baby Savage, and this is Morally Ambiguous, real talk for the beautifully flawed.